You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome everyone to Cult of Campbell. I'm Ty.
I'm Eric.
And today we are doing Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 2, Episode 4, DUI.
Dun dun dun.
This is, of course, the epic continuation of the crazy, the crazy Episode 3, which had a lot in it. And this right here follows suit because they are really just cramming these episodes full of shit.
No kidding.
You kind of check the time. You feel like you've been watching it for an hour, and it's still, you're like 10 minutes in. There's just so many different things going on now.
Yeah, I agree. Like, they pack in so much that it does. That's a great point. Like, I was kind of checking the time, and it's like, oh my God, we're only 20 minutes into this episode still, and it's still going.
Yeah, there's still stuff like stacking. It's crazy.
It was a wild ride. I'll say that.
Yes, there's some wild shit in this episode.
I was kind of blown away, and I heard that there were some strong opinions on the last episode.
There were.
It was, but overall, I was pretty happy to see you guys both agree on. You know, I just think it's so funny. I listened to it, and I just love you guys. Anyway,
we came to terms. You
did, yeah.
Let me bring up here Season 2. Let's see who did this episode.
Oh, yes.
I think it might be the same guy. It seems like whoever does. It's like they stick around 2 episodes. Oh, you got it already?
Yeah. I've got the director is Michael J. Bassett.
Okay.
So guess who the writer was on this?
I'm seeing it. That's
Isn't
cool.
that crazy? I'm going to go ahead and say it. It was Ivan Raimi.
Now, last episode he wrote, I believe, was the pilot.
Is that right?
Yeah,
it's been that long since he's written an episode.
That's looks crazy. Like it.
Okay.
No, okay. He was in. Looks like he was part of the writing team in Fire in the Hole.
Where
they're inside the one where they're in the military bunker. Oh. And the Deadite has the kerosene.
Okay, cool.
Looks like he was part of that.
Nice.
And that's it. This is the 3rd episode he's involved in. Okay, the pilot, Fire in the Hole, and now DUI.
This is
solely him.
This was all him.
Yeah, this is the first one where it's just him. The pilot was him and Sam. Him, Sam, and Tom Speasley. And Fire in the Hole was Sean Clements, Dominic Dirks, then Ivan. So this is Ivan's first solo
is his
venture.
First just pure Ivan going in.
This looks like it. Looks like the only one he's wrote by himself so far.
Well, I think he did. I don't think he does. I think he did a pretty good job. I was pretty thrilled overall by this episode. Not to spoil too much, but like it was a thrilling ride. I'll keep making car puns.
What do you think of the Delta?
Oh, it's cool.
The possessed Delta. Yeah, it's really badass. It's a cool villain, a cool addition. Like it's something you wouldn't have expected.
Yeah. No, like it's the thing that we didn't know we wanted because who was anybody ever thinking like, oh, possessed Delta? Like in any run of the Evil Dead franchise before this, I wonder.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You think back. And like the Delta has been it's been by Ash's side through some crazy shit. Like it is his sidekick.
It's been as constant as he has. Yeah, they've kept it that way. That Delta has been in it just as much as the POV and Bruce Campbell.
Where Bruce went, the Delta went. It went back in time.
Yeah, it did. It went to medieval times.
Yeah. So it's been through some shit, and you didn't really until the last episode. I don't think any of us ever considered the Delta to be a character in the Evil Dead franchise until now. It's like,
to me, it was a neat piece of trivia. I think that's how I took it from a lot of people. It was like, oh yeah, and this car is just in every single one. And I was like, oh, cool. And then they're like, oh, it's in every single Sam Raimi movie. And I was like, okay, cool. But now it's like, I'm kind of looking back and it's like, I'll bet you people have really put a lot of character into this. And the story really did too, because he loves on that car so much.
He does.
I just dismiss it as Ash banter, though. I never really saw the depths of his love for this car until this episode. I'm looking back now, and it's just like, wow, it was there all along.
I wonder how much of it's like Sam as well, because Sam obviously has an affinity for this car. I think it was like his first car, if I remember right. Like it was his first vehicle, and then
because they were very young when they started all this. Was the Delta? Do you remember? Was the Delta Into the Woods?
I'm thinking. I don't believe so. I don't think there was even a car in it.
No,
if it was, maybe it was parked outside and you saw a glimpse of it or something. But I don't remember being any vehicle in within the woods.
No cars are jumping out in my memory for that one.
No, if it we might have seen it during like one of the POVs or something like outside of the house, but I can't really remember.
Yeah.
It doesn't stick out to me, but no, it's in everything. And like that's like I know like that's when people started really speculating about Sam directing Doctor Strange is when like they started shooting over in Paris and like someone spotted a truck with a Delta on it. Like that was like one of the first big like Sam Raimi's involved in this, and like
it was a big hint. Okay.
Yeah.
Or perhaps a clue.
Right. It was a big clue that Sam Raimi was involved in Doctor Strange. So and we find out he's directing it.
Interesting.
And that was Uncle Ben's car in the Spider-Man trilogy.
No way. Really?
Yeah, it was Uncle Ben's car. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I love that. I love this car. It's so
yeah.
I love this car's history. Like it just keeps surprising me now. I wasn't expecting this when we started diving into this stuff.
It makes me want to like if I ever get like rich, I'm gonna buy a Delta just for the gimmick of it.
I believe that. No, and I would be happy for you. I think that's a good. I think you should. I think that'd be amazing. Actually,
there we go. That's what I'll do if I ever get rich.
Can I cruise in it with you?
Yeah, of course. Once this podcast gets taken off, we'll record a special episode from the Delta.
There we go.
Oh man, that would actually be a really good idea. I love that special.
Idea. Crowdfund.
We need to find out who has a Delta. There's got to be someone in Ohio that has a Delta.
I'm sure.
Parlay for it. We'll do that. That's our 100th episode special. I'll put it in the universe.
Oh boy!
Once we hit 100 episodes, we'll record our 100th episode inside of a Delta. I'll make it happen.
From Bulgaria, we'll be
from Bulgaria. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Tyler's
all you gotta
dream.
do, you gotta put this out. If you want it, you gotta put it in the universe. And
exactly.
One way or the other, it'll manifest. So
yes, there we go. Cruising in a Delta, running a podcast in Bulgaria. Movie shoots.
Yeah.
Boom. There it is. We're not asking for much there, are we?
No. I don't feel like that's outside the realm of possibility.
No,
it's pretty plausible.
I think so. Yeah, kind of a humble ask, really.
It really is. I mean, I don't see why not. In between one of our 6 films we're going to shoot over the course of 3 months.
Exactly. That's right.
With Billy Zane and Kevin Sorbo. So.
Oh, okay. Not asking for much.
Really, we're not. It's Billy Zane and Kevin Sorbo.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
So I think let's go and let's get into this, Eric.
I agree.
You remember what we say here?
You know what? I was ready for this. I practiced it, and I know Ben couldn't quite. He had to pass that off to you, but I think oh shit, Ty, help me out here. What do I say?
It's there. It's something.
All right. Let's get groovy.
Let's get groovy.
Grab your boomstick and fire up the Delta. It's time for ACTION. Join the cult of Campbell. Groovy.
And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my boomstick.
And we're back. Ready to start getting into the wheel wells of this episode.
You gotta stop.
I'm reaching deep into the trunk.
You are,
these, aren't I?
you are terrible. Oh shit. So here we are. We're doing episode 4, season 2. We're rolling right through this season.
There it is.
I didn't even mean to do that one.
I
didn't even mean to do that. Yeah, I didn't even mean to do that one. So here we go. So this is DUI. And the last time we saw Ash and Gang, there's we saw, unfortunately, Papa Williams got obliterated by a car.
Seriously.
I guess Bruce didn't see who did it because he's shocked when the Delta shows back up.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did act very surprised, like he was acting like, I don't know. I'm with you. He didn't seem to have put those two together. He's just like, oh shit, there's the Delta, After
and I'm still with Ben on this. Like I this is some of the worst writing I've seen in the series so far. Like the dialogue, even when he's like there, it's so parody-ish. It reminds me of like one of those like action movie or horror, like scary movie type, those parody films.
Yes,
because where he's like standing over his dad, and he's doing the whole thing of, oh, Pop, I can't believe it.
I can't believe
we finally
gone.
reconciled. And it sounds like it's such a joke.
It's
and
a
like
soap opera. It's soap opera dialogue is what that is.
And they're like parodying
it, but for people that are only half watching so that they can follow along really well. And it's like, no, we're not half watching, motherfuckers. Like,
we're invested. We are
invested, and people are getting splattered right and left. Every word that these people say could be their last. We are hanging on. You don't have to slap us in the face with it.
No, and it seems like even from the last, like the events of the last episode. With with his dad getting killed.
Right.
And like even this dialogue, like it all just seemed like such a
I know.
It seemed like fake, like it was going to turn out to be like Ash was going to wake up and it was going to be like some kind of weird dream or something.
Like,
it's so
weird.
bad.
Dad, I had a dream that your face got smashed by my car. It does. It really does. Because
it's so bad. It's such poor writing.
It makes it hard to tell when Pablo's visions are happening because the absurdity isn't, you know what I mean? It seems the same anymore, which of course this is an absurd series. But you know what I mean? Like,
but
Ash is sitting there trying to scoop his dad's brain back into his skull. It's like, come on. Like, I know what this show's about, and like we did come off of an episode not too long ago of Ash getting like his head pulled into a sphincter. Like, it gets absurd, and I get that, but like, man, I was expected just a little more for his dad overall.
Right. And like I told Ben, Brock, he's pretty much in the rest of the series. So I mean,
which is cool.
And that's a big spoiler, I
that'll
guess.
Help.
Sorry for our fans who are watching along.
Or
Brock does. This is not the last we see of Brock. We see him in this episode, and like,
we do. Yeah,
it's like stock footage from the last episode.
Right.
He becomes a pretty big part in the series. Continue past this, though.
Interesting. Okay, now that gives me a theory that I'm afraid to even mention because it might be a spoiler. I don't know. So anyway, yeah.
So the Delta shows up, and so they still are under the assumption that it's the kids.
Yep.
Who are
running amok, and now he's like, run his dad over.
And they don't really like. He's like this. If I don't know, his reaction is just so like, it's not appropriate for what's going on here.
I know it's really out of place. That I agree.
Like, you think you'd have like some fire, some like you think he would go after the kids. Bruce. Right. This car just killed his father, but Pablo's like, no, I got this. I'll take the bull by the horns. And he like runs up. And he like cautiously approaches and like. Yeah. But as far as there's some psycho kids in this car that have just ran over an old man, and now are like, squaring off with you guys in this car. And I don't know. It's just really weird. The whole scenario is really odd.
It's very disjointed. I agree. Like, I can't believe Pablo was the one who would end up in like, no, I got this. It's like, right? Are you kidding me? Now it doesn't make sense.
And of course, the girl, I can't remember her name, the sheriff's daughter.
I can't.
She's in there,
still
like
alive.
Yeah, this thing's like keeping her alive. So she's like telling him like get away from the car, and then the door pops open, the seatbelts snake out and grab him. That's when he tells Ash like, Ash, the Delta's possessed.
Right.
And pulls him into the car, and that's where Ash finally like realizes like, oh no, like not the Delta.
The Delta's possessed.
Yeah, like that's the first like real emotion he like shows. Right. I guess maybe that's part of his.
That might be some of what's going on here because like they're kind of
very
weird. To where his emotions are very tied to his car. It probably is kind of like how he deals with stuff since he doesn't really people well.
Right. It's very
on an
weird.
Emotional level. Yeah. No, the way that they got Pablo in that car. Yeah, that whole scene. I mean, they were still coming off of just that absolute train wreck of the way they killed off his dad. So I think maybe Ivan was trying to get through it.
So the rest of the episode's pretty solid. The rest of the episode is pretty solid. Just the stuff with Ash and his dad is just doesn't sit well with me.
No, it's super ham-fisted.
And if I didn't, if I have didn't know what's to come and things like that, I'd be pretty upset too because it's such It's such an abrupt way for them to kill off this character who, as far as you know, like this is the last we ever see of him.
Right. Yeah.
And it's all this hammy, cheesy writing they start doing with it. It just doesn't feel sincere and doesn't feel meaningful for this, this character who, over the last 3 episodes, we've kind of came to know as Ash's dad. So.
Exactly. Like, and he's a window into Ash. Ash is like understanding Ash better too, or he could be. That's, I think, the real crime here is like they're not really using him to explore Ash anymore. You know what I mean? It's all superficial stuff. Or, like the whole town thinks he's a killer. Okay, Dad thinks he's a killer too. And that's the end of that story when he realizes that he's not. It's not working well for me. That's just me.
It's super weird. It's just super weird. Every time I hear the dialogue, like the way this episode started off, and with him giving that really cheesy dialogue, it just took me out of it. But we're past that now.
We are. We're
Pablo
zooming
gets
past
pulled
it.
in a car. Yeah, we're getting right past things. It's where the episode actually upticks pretty well.
Yeah.
I feel like. It's a pretty nice little improvement over the last episode.
I agree. Yes.
So the Delta takes off with Pablo and the girl. What is her name? I don't want to keep calling her the girl.
Let's see.
What is her name?
Perhaps Lacey? Nope.
No.
Guest star.
What the fuck is her? Yeah, it's Lacey.
It is Lacey. Okay.
Yeah, it's Lacey. So Pablo and Lacey are now trapped in the Delta, and it's zooming off.
Yep.
And Ash, for some reason, like he seems to like go for Chet. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if he like thinks
he's I know who I'm gonna call. Like,
yeah. Now is he trying to steal Chet's car first? Is that what he's trying to do? Like,
I don't know. I think to me it just seemed like he just knew Chet would be there and he was gonna try to borrow the car or whatever. I don't.
Yeah, he's got like a little gremlin, like a little I think it's what they're called, gremlins.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure, but it's this really shitty little car. And he's going to take it. Chet's like,
drunk.
No, yeah, we're sticking together. I'm coming with you, because he tries to tell Chet to stay behind, and Chet's like, no, I'm coming with you until the wheels fall off. That's their little like catchphrase.
Yep.
Till the wheels fall off, and which for Chet, I feel like the wheels have been off for a while.
Yeah.
Like,
he's drinking in a parking lot by himself.
Yeah.
When Ash finds it.
I really do enjoy Ted Raimi. Like, that's one thing I've come to learn from this series, our Cult of Campbell, is I really do enjoy seeing Ted Raimi. Like, he is actually like kind of one of those like hidden gems, I feel like, of the Raimi Campbell universe. Because he does take his roles and just fucking goes with them.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He commits, like,
yeah. There were a couple of
shitty roles.
There were he goes through. They both got conditioned to just, and him and Bruce, that is, got conditioned to just absolutely put themselves through some crap for the camera. And he had some really good. I really liked some of the sequences that they had together.
Yeah. I really enjoy the Chet and Bruce and Ash stuff.
Yeah.
I remember like reading a review like a while back when I was like preparing for season 2 of this, and like I was just kind of looking up some stuff.
Yeah,
and I remember like a lot of reviews talking about because I was really curious about what like the critical reception of Ted Raimi was.
Right. Yeah.
Because I feel like this is probably his most like mainstream exposure in a long time, at least. Because I know back in the 90s he was in the Hercules stuff, and he was in Xena, and he had that show C Lab, which he was like one of the main characters in C Lab. Like, looking back,
cool. Yeah.
Like that was probably like honestly one of my first exposures to Ted. 'Cause I used to love that show when I was a kid. But I honestly didn't know it was Ted Raimi, obviously, because I was a child.
Right.
But I remember he got like an action figure and everything out of that. So that was probably his biggest hit in the 90s. But I feel like this is his probably like mainstream return
and
for
he
him.
Just kind of pops in out of nowhere in a bar one day.
Yeah, exactly. I know Ben was like kind of like he was like, what do you mean? Like, what would they have done? Because I was talking about how it was kind of weird for Ted just like pop. There was no like fanfare. Which looking back, it's like, who would that have been for? Because like honestly, the only people that know Ted Raimi is the diehards.
Are the Bruce Campbell fans. Yep.
for me, being a diehard, I thought it was just kind of odd that it's just like the camera pans around. Oh, there's Ted Raimi. Like,
yeah.
I expected a little something more for Ted. Like, give me a pan
or something.
Give me a pan up. Give me a pan up.
Oh yeah, they didn't even really move the camera for him, did they? It wasn't even like like some sort of pan over. Like, oh, and here he is. It was just like
no.
Camera doesn't even care. It's just like, nah, there he is.
Yeah, because the whole sequence is like Ash, like, I've got an idea at first, and it's like boom, and he's like, pink fuck. Like he's just on screen. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it should have been like something. Give me a a mysterious figure walks to the door. It's Ted Raimi. Give me something. Like, it's Ted Raimi, for God's sakes.
Have you no respect?
Yeah.
It's Ted Raimi. Throw out the red carpet. Where's the sparklers, people? Can't you see he's in this episode?
Just give me something. Like, just
no,
I don't know.
I think that's so funny. You're right. He didn't even get the camera to move towards him.
No, it was just boom. He's on screen. Like, it could have been like, Bruce being like, "Here's my old friend Chet," and then the camera turns around. It's like a reveal,
dude. Yeah,
turns around. His back is turned. And he like whips around. There's Ted Raimi. Like, something.
Because really, it could have just been some random guy for all the fanfare. Any part of the show gave it to him. So I think that's hilarious.
Right.
Could have just been another actor that was a bartender who could have been like, all right, here's the pink fuck. Like, anyway.
But they gave him nothing. So,
but this episode, I was pretty happy with his scenes in this. Oh,
yeah.
I liked the car bit. Where he just kept kind of bonking his head and hitting his ass with the door and stuff like that. Like, I can't quite remember the situation, but
I like when he kept like when he looks around the back seat, he like notices like the chainsaw, and he's like, he's like, Ash, why is there a chainsaw in the back? He's like, for ice sculptures. And he's like,
okay. Oh yeah.
Hey Ash, why is there a shotgun in the back? He's like, for when they don't pay for the ice sculpture. And he's like, okay, yeah. Like he just gets it. Like, yeah, you're right.
You're right. Yeah.
They don't pay for your ice sculpture. You pull a shotgun on them. Like, of course.
It's super Three Stooges when the Raimis come to town. Like, it's pretty cool. I like it.
When I looked at like some of the critical stuff, a lot of the it seemed to be very well received. The Bruce Ted stuff. Like I remember like reading one reviewer was like, Ash vs Evil Dead is now the Bruce and Ted show. Like it does for the next few episodes.
Okay.
Ted and Bruce are like right there. He becomes like Bruce's sidekick for a while. So.
Oh, cool. Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah. Okay. That'll be fun. Because I like their dynamic. They do have a good dynamic.
They do.
With each other. And it's...
So, Chet and Ash are on their, they're hunting the town for the Delta.
Yep.
And all the while, and this is something I completely forgot about in the last episode, was the whole Kelly Ruby thing. Where
they went off.
Ruby has kind of enlisted Kelly, like telling her, like Ash is not the one, that she's the one, and she should have seen all the time, and kind of convinced her to go on a hunt for her children.
And now we get to kind of see, because I guess in that last episode they just basically went off. So they kind of start in Ash's trailer, don't they? Because is this where they get into his guns?
They go get all the guns. Yeah, I'm guessing they took all the guns from the base from the last season.
That makes sense. Okay,
that's what I'm assuming. So it's like, where else are they going with those guns?
Futon.
Right, just there.
Where he decides to keep them. I guess I don't know where else I'd put them in there, but
fucking the first season he had like a trap door for a shotgun, like
which was awesome.
Guess,
yeah, I know. Like, why aren't those like hidden in different little compartments all around them? Maybe
we don't see any more of that either. Like we don't. I don't think he has any more of those little contraptions anymore. And like.
Yeah,
that's something that seems to be kind of lost in the first couple episodes of the series. Was his little his little I think it's just the first episode, honestly, where he had the little.
Which is true, but like the first episode, he had like a lot of time prior to the events to get prepared, and I do feel except for like fucking Jackson, Florida. He hasn't really, it's been pretty nonstop for him. So maybe he just hasn't had the time to engineer a bunch of stuff.
Right.
The pace has been pretty rapid as far as the story goes.
After they get the guns, they head to the crematorium.
That's right.
And they've got to hunt down, they got to kill the kids.
Yes.
Ruby's kids. And she's all the while telling Kelly all about Ball. Because, they're still building up to the big bad of this season,
right?
Which we haven't had a big bad yet, because Ruby was seemingly the big bad in the first season, and by the end of it, she was not. It was so just the cabin, I guess, the Necronomicon itself.
Yeah.
So this is our first big bad that we're building up to. We're 4 episodes in, and we still haven't seen him yet. So,
right. Apparently, we hear his voice according to the cast list, but
we see him at the very end.
Do we really? At the end of this?
At the very end. At the very end,
oh
like the
gosh,
very last shot of the. It's
kidding.
The very last shot of the episode. He like bursts out of the trunk of the Delta.
That was him. Okay,
Yeah,
I know what
that
you're
was
talking
Ball.
about. I was just like, I thought it was generic, like evil demon. No,
I'm pretty sure
that
it's
was
Ball.
legit him. Okay, no, I could see that now that you mention it. Like that totally makes sense. Holy crap!
So she's telling him, she's like, I think this is some foreshadowing where she's like telling Kelly about Ball is able to manipulate people's minds, and she was
like nobody can
before.
refuse him.
Right.
She's like he's super seductive and can just convince anybody to do anything. It seems like.
So while Ash and Chet are hunting down the Delta, we see Pablo and Lacey inside the car.
Yep.
And the Necronomicon is in the back. I love the puppet.
That was cool.
Book. It cracks me. I don't know. It's just so funny. I love like the little puppet face Necronomicon.
Yeah. Just riding along in the back seat.
Yeah.
Literally a backseat driver.
Yeah. And Pablo and it just having a conversation.
Yep.
It's like taunting him. It's about me and you, Pablo. Like
it's not about her.
I love it. I love it. Like fucking Lacey. Like she's had a wild fucking night. Like,
I know this
poor girl
has come out of fucking nowhere. Her
just harmlessly stealing an old man's car. The next thing you know, all her friends are dead. Yeah, she wasn't involved. Yeah, she wasn't even involved, right?
For her, she's just like, all right, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. Oh my fuck, they stole a car. Oh my fuck, this car is trying to kill us. Oh my fuck, I'm stuck in this fucking car. And now there's a dude next to me and a talking book.
Yeah, all of her friends are dead. Yeah, she had to watch all of her friends get killed.
Yep, brutally, very brutally. That was such a cool episode anyway. By the way. The car kills have been really awesome.
The Delta, like, to me, steals it for this first half of the season anyways. Like, the Delta is, like, easily, at this point, one of my favorite Deadites, like we've seen so far.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've seen, like, an iconic demonic car. Like, I think Carrie's the only one we really have that's...
Christine.
Oh, Christine. Whoops. I always do that. But
I'm trying to get any other ones. Like, I know
I can't think of any that are, like, like, really big in pop culture like that.
No.
You know what I mean?
There's the semi from...
Oh, yeah,
Maximum Overdrive. That's more of like a. I don't know if that's like super well known. I think we know it a lot because it's in our
right.
town. Yeah, that's a fun fact for the Campbellites.
There you go, more trivia.
Yeah, our hometown hosts the home of the the Maximum Overdrive Green Goblin semi.
That's right. That's where
the face, just the face of it.
Oh, really?
Face.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it actually has the semi. I think it has the face of it.
Just the face of it, but
from that
artifact from that movie. There you go.
Cult classic. Yep. Maximum Overdrive that everyone remembers.
That everyone remembers. Yes.
Yeah, everyone remembers. Yeah. I remember for the longest time, like that's how I knew AC/DC music was just from Maximum Overdrive. The whole soundtrack is AC/DC. There's no like original score. The whole soundtrack to Maximum Overdrive is AC/DC. So I remember as a kid, I just knew like this is the band from Maximum Overdrive. So I'm a weird fucking person like that. So like I would, of course, I would know AC/DC from Max Overdrive and not AC/DC as this iconic rock band. It's like, oh, you mean the band from Maximum Overdrive?
Yep, that's a very tight connection.
Yeah.
Yep.
If someone's listening to AC/DC, I'm like, oh, you're a fan of Maximum Overdrive? And they're like, what?
Who's that?
Well, of course, this is the song from the scene where Emilio Estevez, goes to the sewer system, and
of course, duh.
Underneath the Dixie Boy, gas station, as it's called.
And they're like, you mean track 5?
Yeah,
on the CD. You're like, CD,
CD, DVD,
DVD, yeah.
Oh shit! But, no, I don't think there's too many iconic demon cars, but
no.
Christine though is so good. That's one of my favorite. That's like a sleeper favorite of mine. Like,
right? Oh, there you go. Yeah,
I forget about it, but I'll watch it every now and then. Catch it on TV or on like a streaming service. That's such a good movie.
Nice. And I'll bet there's they did a lot of homages to Christine. Like,
I'm almost thinking like I think they did
little nods and stuff like that.
They
had to, right? I mean,
oh, of course, they had some flawless CGI in this too. Like last episode in particular.
Uh-huh.
In the car, like there's a couple of shots of the car CG, and they do it really well.
Oh, yeah, they do it pretty. Yeah, I mean, especially as far as this show goes, as far as CG,
right?
They did a great job. They put a lot of care into the car. No,
yeah, and so all this like hunting and everything, it all leads up to like a very fitting location for our finale to take place.
Yes,
this like demolition derby park. I thought that was a really great scene, a great location. I love the look of like movies and stuff when you could tell it's shot inside of a studio or a stage.
Yeah, right.
I love that look, like that. I don't know, that feel of like being inside of a set.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like what this Demolition Derby thing is. It was such a set. It was a nice set piece.
Yes. Right.
And it made so much sense for, Ash to have to square off with the Delta, and of all places, a Demolition Derby park.
Yes, of course. And that's one thing. That's something that they do really good with this franchise overall is their sets. They use their sets very efficiently, even where we don't think that they use their script very efficiently or whatever.
Right.
They know how to utilize their set very well and to pick sets that are going to be utilized really well, I think.
Yeah,
like in this case here.
That's one of the things I really like about this town. I can't swear to it, but I think that town is all like a soundstage.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
I think it just seems that way because you never see the sky. It's always like foggy. Yep. It's always like really tight, shots of like buildings and streets. To me, it seems like maybe it's a
claustrophobic feel to it.
Yeah, I wonder if it is like a sound stage or something. But
I'll could very well later. Be. Yeah.
All the while this is going on, of course, Ruby and Kelly are hunting down the
spawn.
The spawn, yeah, and they kill both of them, don't they?
I think they do. She says by the end of it that they finished off all of them. That was the last of them.
Right.
So
I think they killed 2 or 3. I'm thinking 2.
I feel like 3 because they killed like 2 while they had Ruby kind of like backed against the wall. This was a really cool, like a very boiler room looking set, and they had her kind of up against some. Yeah, they had her up against some pipes or some a ladder or something like that. And they were kind of coming. Wasn't one of them upside down kind of coming at her? And they were trying to get her the dagger because, during the attack, the dagger, of course, goes skittering across the floor. And Kelly manages to toss her the dagger. And I think she kills 2 of them there and then ends up finishing one.
I believe
the last one. Yeah, so I think there was a third. That was a pretty cool. I think they just came out of nowhere too, like jump scare style, right? Just kind of grabbed Ruby away again.
They just kind of popped out.
It's very reminiscent of the first time we saw that happen because she just sucked back, which I guess is reminiscent of what happens to people like in the cabin and stuff like that with the evil.
Now, I really like the Ruby Kelly stuff so far. Like I think it's
yes,
it makes a lot more sense for Ruby to having associate herself with Ash at this point to kind of realize that maybe she needs to look elsewhere for
assistance and ally.
Yeah, because Ash is very not really wanting to help others. We saw at the end of like the finale of last season. I mean, he basically gave up the fate of the world just to ensure his own little slice of peace. So
yeah,
I like the line earlier too in the episode we glossed over when he's putting his dad's brain back into his head, and Pablo's talking to him about sorry this all happened, and this is before Ash sees the car. And I think even like the way we was talking earlier about how we didn't realize how much the car has been a part of this whole thing. I don't think he did either because he's talking too. He's like no, this always happens. Like everyone I've ever loved or associated, they've all either turn up dead or possessed.
Right.
Next it'll be you or Kelly or Eli or well, that's pretty much it. One of you 3. Like he's
right.
Which that's another thing too. I think about this often when I'm watching the series. Where the fuck is Eli? The little lizard. Like
I think he's still in the trailer, right?
Maybe. I can't remember. Like the last time I remember seeing him was
like
the Jacksonville stuff in season 1, like
the hallucination.
Yeah, that's the last time I remember seeing him.
Before that,
I remember his other lizard. They show his other lizard, and the first episode of this one back where he comes into things like starved. He's like, oh, poor guy, couldn't go on with that one. He couldn't miss me too much. He couldn't go on. It's like he's fucking starved inside this thing, but he still got making it about himself. Like. Oh, that was funny.
Now, I think it would be hilarious if, like, we go back and watch these episodes and we just see Eli in the background, just background shots, not emphasized at all. Right. He just, like, continues to... That would be an attention to detail. I would be actually
I'll spoil this.
Okay.
Because I don't want anyone, like, anticipate it. It's like, I only thought about this episode. I wish we would have got Eli possessed. Had, like, some kind of big reptilian... fucking thing. We don't. I'll let you know.
Yeah, okay.
But that would have been badass if it would have like possessed him and like just for the sake of the show made it in like a big ass like make him grow into this big ass lizard monster thing. Man, that'd been badass.
That would have been badass. Cool. because of course there's a great big long tongue that can wave around and snatch people.
Oh
and,
yeah, that would have been cool.
Oh yeah,
but we don't.
Sweet.
We
no,
don't.
Okay. I won't get my hopes up then.
I know, but I thought about that during this episode when he mentioned like Eli. Like, man, that would have been cool. But
we'll just
missed
have to
opportunity
be happy with the Delta. It's all right.
I'm very happy with the Delta though.
Yeah.
So we get the big standoff between Ash and the Delta, and there's some cool shots in this because he tells Chet to stay outside, and he goes into the demolition derby park by himself, but Chet drops him off.
He does, and they have a really cool, like, I think that was a pretty neat moment between the two of them. Like, when he finally, except it was hilarious, too, because Chet thought they were going to
the titty bar.
Yeah. And then he realizes that they're not, and he looks so, like, almost like he's going to start throwing, not going to cry, but start throwing a tantrum.
Right.
And gets out of the car, and then they have this like nice heart to heart with each other, and things get resolved, and he lets them go and deal with the demonic car that's threatening his friend. But he does convince him to stay behind, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, that was a very sweet moment between the two of them. Eventually, once they got past the topless bar stuff,
right?
I understand why he was disappointed.
The shot when Ash enters the demolition derby park was awesome. Like where he enters through those big doors, and like it's an overhead shot as the doors close. It pans down, and he's backlit, and his silhouette streaming across the courtyard, or whatever. It was such a cool shot. I love when they do stuff like this.
I know, it just says like, hell yes, you're about to see a showdown,
right? And it was a cool showdown between it felt like a western.
Really cool.
It felt like a western
to me. It felt there were some very Western moments in that. I also was getting some like bullfight vibes.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like that was really, I thought that was.
I was
really
picking up the bull stuff last episode. They did some stuff with and then early in this episode, right, early in this episode too, when Pablo first approaches the car, and he's like, "I'm taking the bull by the horns." It shows the Delta, and it shoots snorts the
steam out of its engine.
Yeah, I thought that was they really kind of made this thing into just like a badass just monster. I love it.
I know.
So how does Pablo and Lacey, how do they get out of the car?
I think so it's over the course of their fight, because it's charging them and stuff like that. And I think that's where he kind of does this like little flip somersault thing and shoves the chainsaw into the engine the first time. And I think after it gets like injured by that, it kind of stops and unlocks the doors and was like, fuck you guys, get out. I'm dealing with this guy,
Right. Pablo and Lacey get out with the book.
Yes.
And this is where we have and we totally glossed over this, the Pablo's vision.
That's right. We do have to back up because during that scene that you liked where he was talking to the book in the back, we thought that they got into a car accident.
It felt more real than
it did.
Ash and his dad's shit.
That's what I mean. Like it really starts to get like the way that they killed Ash's dad just felt as ridiculous as one of Pablo's visions. So now it's really hard to tell the difference for a minute. You know what I mean? Which I know they want to be confusing, but like still, geez.
And I told Ben this.
I don't know when to take it seriously.
Last episode, I brought this up to Ben. Like the whole that whole sequence at the end of last episode where Ash's dad comes out and he's like totally like saw the light and he's like, my son's a hero. Like I fully, first time I watched this, expected him to whip around and be a Deadite. Like it just felt like it felt like one of those trickery things, like,
well, because the dialogue was just so dumb. It's just like this is a Deadite losing its. I see what you mean. No,
like son, I believe you. Come in for a hug, something like that. Like I was expecting something like that. Then his eyes milk over and it's a fucking Deadite. But no, it wasn't. But this felt more real than the fucking Ash and Brock stuff. And even like Ash's behavior, he like they crash. Lacey's dead. Pablo gets a whole fucking like stop sign through him.
That was Now that was hard to watch. That was a well done, man. You should have seen me. I wish you could have watched this with me. I was in my seat, bent over, holding my chest.
Yeah, it hurt, right? It hurt. Last night when I was watching it, it was the same way. It's like when Ash comes up and starts, like I'm gonna pull it out, like which is a terrible idea anyway. It's like 4 feet on either end. Yeah.
Like, good God. And how big is that hole in his fucking body gonna be when you get that out of there?
Oh man, they show when he tries to pull it. They show this close up. Oh, it was bad. Like it hurt my chest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm getting chest pain just thinking about it. That's how their effects right there were really good because that was super convincing.
And I mean, say what you will about Pablo. Like I know we all have pretty pretty strong opinions for Pablo, but the actor who plays Pablo is terrific.
The actor is, yes, he's
such a good actor. Like he really does make you feel bad for him sometimes. Like in this when he's in pain, he's like calling out for Ash. Yeah. Like I legitimately felt bad for him. Like he's like,
I think he's a really great actor. Just
Santiago.
The character. To me, it's
the character.
Ray Santiago.
Writing. Of course.
Yeah, I interrupted his name again. Ray
Santiago.
Ray Santiago.
Oh, he's gay.
Okay,
he's openly gay.
Cool, and a great actor. I just do not like the way they're writing his character at all.
No.
But kudos for him for sticking that out.
I wonder what he does. I wonder what he's doing lately. Let's see here.
Man, I'm looking at
a show called Into the Dark. Oh, that's one of those Hulu things.
Okay.
He was in a Hulu episode, The Body.
I was looking at a still where he, like, right after, during the vision when it first starts and his, mouth is oozing over with the blood and he just looks so agonized.
He's in the, they announced he's in the new game too when it comes out.
Oh, yeah?
Him and Kelly, Kelly and Ruby. I think that's like a DLC.
Well, that's cool. When's that coming out?
It was supposed to come out like November, but I think they pushed it back. I think they got the rights to, I think it was one of those rights things with Army of Darkness. I think they just got the Army of Darkness shit.
Oh, okay.
I think something. There was some hold up, then like it got resolved, and that's why they pushed it back. So it's like they made sure to like make it clear, like it's not, there's no issue or improving on things. So I can't remember what it was.
Listen to me being pessimistic. I'm like, of course they got pushed back.
Right.
They're like, no, we got some rights to some cool stuff we want to add.
Something happened. I'm hoping they like take the opportunity to continue Ash vs. Evil Dead through the game because you guys, when we get to the episode season 3 and you find out how the series ends, it ends in a way where you're just like,
we're not going to be happy, are we?
It's not like the series, it wraps up. It wasn't for the last scene. If it isn't for the last scene, everything is resolved for all we know.
Okay.
And then the very last scene, it's like, wait, there's more, and then
there's not more.
Stars decide they want to cancel it, but it like teases a very interesting direction for the series that I'm hoping they take an opportunity to like continue in the games
in some way,
because it'd be a very cool direction to play with in like the game world. So we gloss through those visions, but he's back, he's out of the car and he's talking to the book, and the book is telling him like, Pablo, we can be free. You have to you have to deface me or something like that. He tells it like you have to deface me. Yeah, and like it spits out like a word out of the book, which I thought was kind of cool. Like it's a book, so it like regurgitates a letter, like a piece of paper, a page. Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, because I think it was saying, no, don't you want to, like, it was like, you don't have to do this, because he's stabbing the crap out of it with some glass while Ash is fighting his car, and it's like, you don't have to do this. You can, don't you just want to send me back to hell? Like, get me out of the picture. It's like, making an argument of like, we can both win, maybe. I can't believe he listened to this shit. Like,
it's Pablo, though.
I know. And it harkens back to the vision that he had, because like when Ash was in the vision, like eventually when it got weird was when Ash was like, now get in the trunk and it'll be fine, So that was cool foreshadowing for this, where the book is starting to convince him, like, say this word and whatever,
And if it wasn't Pablo, I'd be upset. But if this was like Kelly or something like that,
like that wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, with him it does.
It's Pablo, and he's so easily manipulated, and I think he's so hopeful. I think it's maybe the problem.
I think
he's hoping like, the book's lied to me before. Maybe it's being serious this time. Like it really wants to go back to hell.
To me, he's kind of doing the same thing Ash did with Ruby. Like, oh, you lied to me the one time, but this time you must be telling the truth.
Right.
Okay.
They're so hopeful it's gonna happen.
But at least it makes sense with his character, because he's just a gullible moron.
And for what it seems, it seems like it works out for the most part.
Does it?
It seems like it, right?
Does
like
for a minute. Yeah, you're what we're seeing right now. Yes, it's like, oh, okay. Because he says the word, and I believe it saves Ash when he says the word.
Yeah, because Ash still fighting the car, and we have a little cameo from Brock. he's like riding the hood of the car, and Brock comes in. He's like, "You gotta squeeze your ass real tight, son. Hard enough to crack a walnut." And he's just
stupid. It's just recycled footage from the bucking bronco or the bull riding scene. It's like, come on, guys.
And Ash is being like tossed around this thing. He's like, "I'm doing it, Dad. Dad, I'm hard, Dad." He's like,
which that was funny.
Yeah. And the whole fight was very well done, I thought, between Ash and the Delta.
Oh yeah, I loved every minute of the fight between him and the Delta. Was really cool.
Like, so he finally gets it.
That was cool.
He finally gets it stopped. Gets Delta stopped, and they pop the trunk, right? Like,
yep.
And
he said the words. He pops the trunk, and there's a fucking
portal.
To hell.
Yep. And they
presume is hell. It's whirly firiness,
right? And they toss the book inside, and they think that it's like destroyed. Even Ruby tells, like, oh, not Ruby doesn't tell them, but she senses that the book is gone.
Yes. Her and Kelly, having just finished off the children, they're like, okay, cool. And then Ruby's suddenly like, oh fuck, wait, what? What is it? The book is gone. Like, it doesn't exist anymore, basically, to her. She can't sense it anymore, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. And
so we think that it's all happy-go-lucky done. Everything's resolved.
Close the trunk, and they're like, is that it? Ash is like, seems like it. Like, oh sure, yeah, that's always good to go on. But seems good.
Ash's word is always good to go off of.
Oh yeah. And they're walking away. And they're I loved where he's like, so what are you gonna do now that you don't have the car? And Ash is like, oh no, this will it'll be fine, I'll just it'll just buff out. Like, he's got he's like, it'll be fine. A couple of dings, it's whatever. Reminded me of,
his car is an accessory to like multiple murders.
Yeah,
at this point.
right.
Like,
it's fine.
His car is now evidence.
And it's been like chainsawed multiple times.
Right.
You're right. It's covered in blood. Like
the sheriff's daughter was like taken hostage inside of it. So
like
a lot of stuff is kind of like, it'll
be fine. It'll buff out. I'll get it towed. Whatever. Yeah.
And then from the trunk of the car, boom, bursts a demon.
Right at the
right
screen.
into that. Right, and that's the end of DUI.
That's it.
Season 2, episode 4, DUI, Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Oh boy.
Lot in this 20. How was the long time? It's like 20 minutes. Like they're no longer like 23 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
And they fucking packed this episode.
That was super packed. Yes. Like, I still don't even think we really covered all of it. Like,
we
all the little things throughout. Yeah, because there was just a lot in this. I think we've covered stuff.
I think we've covered hour and a half long movies better than we've covered this 20 minutes. There is so much packed into this.
Yeah,
thing.
I can't believe it. Like, good on you, Ivan. With he's another one who's really efficient with the way he tells his stories. At the very least.
Oh yeah, Ivan's great. I wonder what else he's written. I know he's actually like a doctor of some kind. I know that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he's remember the Bruce's character from Alien Apocalypse is based off of him.
Bruce's character.
A little bit of trivia for you guys.
Is that right? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
nice.
He was whatever Bruce was, because Bruce's name and
he was a doctor.
He was something. He was a specialist, some sort of like specialist doctor, and that's what Ivan is. Yeah. And that's what Bruce's character's name in Alien Apocalypse is Ivan.
Yeah.
Ivan Hood was his name in that one.
Ivan Hood. Yeah.
I shouldn't know that. I shouldn't know off the top of my head. I didn't wiki that. I just did it off my fucking head.
I don't know if I should be impressed or concerned.
I don't know. Probably both.
Probably.
What have I done? What am I doing with my life?
What are you doing? You're making Call of
an osteopath. That's what he was. He was an osteopath. There we go. Yeah,
there you
go. So let's see. Partial writing filmography. So
yeah,
the only things that are listed.
Okay.
Oh, wow. He's Darkman.
Okay.
Army of Darkness.
Right. Yep, that makes sense.
Spider-Man 3 and Drag Me to Hell.
Okay. Cool.
And there's a movie on here we've got to watch sometime called The Nut House.
Okay.
It's a movie like Bruce, Sam, and Ivan all worked on. Like, apparently it's so bad, like none of them took credit for it. They all went under like fake names. Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds like absolutely terrible.
Ivan and Sam both did the Alan Smithies. They took Alan Smithies on it. You know what Alan Smithy is, right?
Is that the
that's the writing name. So when you're embarrassed of a project you've written, you do it under Alan Smithy.
Okay.
It's a writing thing. It was like something they coined in like the 60s.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay,
you
I've
could
heard
do
of
it
that
through
sort of
the
thing before.
and you could do it through anything. It was like directors, I think, used it a lot, but it was actually through the DGA. Like you'd be able to say, like, "Hey, I'm not happy with this project. I don't. I worked on it. I want credit for it. I don't want my name on it." So they would exercise an Alan Smithy on the movie.
Smithy. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yep.
Maybe I can do some more shameful projects that way if I have a pseudonym, sanctioned pseudonym.
I've got my pseudonym. I've always told people is it's Sexton Meatcastle. That's my pseudonym.
Well,
Sexton Meatcastle. So if you ever see a Sexton Meatcastle movie,
you know who that is. Okay,
it's me.
Well, I'm surprised. I've read something by Sexton Meatcastle. That's interesting. Wow. I thought he was a pretty good writer.
Yes, he was.
I'm impressed. No.
I'm pretty sure Killer Meat and T-Rex on Outer Space 2. I'm pretty sure on the title page of that. I think it's Sexton Meatcastle.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure.
I can't.
But and then Bruce did it under Rock Sandstorm.
Sandstorm,
which is a badass name.
That's actually a pretty good name.
That sounds like a Bruce character name, doesn't it? Like he would be like Rock Sandstorm, like in a
Mad Max movie. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be perfect. I can.
So let's get talk. Let's we're getting hung up here. Let's jump to the next segment.
Let's get to our let's
talk about the quality of Campbell.
Yeah.
Shop smart. Shop S-Mart.
So this episode started out, I was a little concerned starting out because we started where we left off, and I was not happy with the dialogue.
Right.
And I'm glad Ivan I think he just did his due diligence. He's like, I gotta, finish this off.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So I think he just cranked that out. It's like, let's get this out.
Yeah, let's get past this scene. Like, get it out.
To me, it almost felt like
the rest of the story.
To me, it almost felt like maybe that was even like part of the script, the previous script.
I actually had that same thought. Like, I wonder if I think shows do this sometimes where they'll like write their stupid little cliffhanger and then the first little bit of the next episode so that they can shoot it all as one scene. Right. So I almost wonder if that's kind of what happened. Because like Ivan's writing seems pretty like he doesn't write a lot of complex stuff, just kind of based on what we're. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's super entertaining. That's the thing. Like he seems to just keep it simple and let let the story kind of tell itself instead of trying to cram this stupid little nuance stuff into it. So yeah, I think you're right. Or at least that's headcanon now what happened. Ivan didn't.
To me, it feels like. Yeah, to me, it feels like. So it felt like the exact type of dialogue we got in the last episode.
Right.
And nothing like what we got in the rest episode.
Like it was just first draft material.
That's what it felt like. Yeah. That whole thing. It felt like that whole stuff with Brock and Ash felt like the showrunner or something gave them like, all right, by the end of the episode, we need to have him say,
yeah, these are the key points that
Ash,
we need.
I forgive you. I see the error of my ways. I'm forgiven. We're all good. Just make him say something along that line. So just make him say that.
Yeah, let's just write that then. Like, let's write the notes in the dialogue. Why not?
That's what it felt like. Yeah. So it started out a little rocky.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, the episode was a huge uptick.
Yes.
Like it improved vastly on episode 3. There was we got to see the Delta. We got to see more of Chet and Bruce. I feel like this is a much better time spent with Chet.
I agree. Yeah.
Because last episode, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I almost kind of wish this had been his first episode on. You know what I mean?
Because I still stand by. I just feel like they just did not introduce him as well as they should have for such a national treasure as Ted Raimi.
For such a gem.
Such a gem, yeah. Ted Raimi coming in and like that's all they do. They just don't even give him a fucking introduction. But because like in the last episode, all we got was like him introducing the pink fuck.
Yep.
And then that weird story about when he was in the war or something like that, or he was in the military. Like,
that's right.
He does that whole thing.
Yeah.
And like that's really all we got at Chet. But this is a much better time spent with Chet. There's him and Ash, mano a mano, bounce off each other.
Yep.
And you get to see their friends. So you get to see like the dynamic. So
yeah, and you do get a very old friend vibe to both of them because that's what they're playing and that's what they are in real life. And I think it's really cool I've been enjoying seeing that now in this episode.
Like we saw a lot of Ted like the last like I think we like knocked about all the Ted Raimi stuff out. This like we got what
it's been a
Man Screaming Brain, Army of Darkness. My Name is Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
And now, we're into the Chet's the Chet episodes of Ash Evil Dead. So we watched a lot of Ted here in the last.
There has been a lot of Ted here
last half of the year. So, but no, the stuff with the Delta and this is awesome. I really like the Ruby Kelly dynamic. I think that is such it makes so much more sense for Ruby to shift her attention to Kelly. 'Cause we're seeing every time we see Kelly, it seems like to me she's becoming like the badass. Like she's becoming the more believable badass in the group. So for Ruby to shift her attention and say, maybe I need your help, I think it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So
I think you're right.
To get all that, and then we have the Ash and Delta standoff.
Oh yeah.
Which was so well done for Ash fighting a CGI car. They did it really well. Like it was awesome. I like this episode. This episode was to me a huge improvement on the last one.
Oh yeah, big time. They had, for me, I loved all the car chases because there were some car chases leading up to the final showdown. Again, I'm constantly impressed, and I hate to see them go now. The Spawn, I've been impressed with all of their scenes. I love their look, and like they're super creepy and stuff like that. So I think they're pretty neat. I wish we had more of them. I was sorry to see them go because of that, because their scenes have just always been really creepy and really cool. So Ball has some big shoes to fill for something and we really didn't spend that much time with them, to be honest. So I'm a little disappointed with that, but the story is what the story is. You got to beat the bad guy at some point.
We really didn't get that much of them this season, like
which you could have overdone them too.
Yes,
so that so maybe they made the right call there. We got some really cool scenes with them today. In this episode, I should say. I haven't seen it today, I swear. Oh God.
So I guess what are you going to rate it, Eric?
Okay, I'm gonna give this one 4.5 out of 5. Evil Dead Spawn.
Evil Dead Spawn.
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
Yeah, 4.5. 4.5.
4.5. Oh,
4.5 out of 5. It was I'm giving them a lot of kudos here because they to me they stepped things up. They just leaned into their cool gimmicks. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They didn't have to, and they explored their characters in ways that was fitting to the story and true to their character. For once,
Yes.
I'm just like they dismissed that first scene. I shall too dismiss that first scene. The rest of the ride was fantastic. So there we go. What about you?
I'm going to give this. I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 trunk demons.
Ooh, trunk demons. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give the extra half. I feel like 4 is pretty solid because I was kind of sour after the last episode.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Just them starting out the way they did. I have some points.
Yeah. So that
they should be past it, or at least like change the tone of it.
Yeah, that's an
I
understandable
really
thing.
just do. Yeah. I really just do not enjoy the way they handled Brock's death.
Right. No.
And Ash's dialogue and that whole sequence, I'm just not a fan of. So
I agree.
For them to move past it, I'm glad they did, but I had to knock off some points from the way they started.
Yeah, you wish they would have handled it better, right? Yeah.
Yes.
To me, I'm just like, I'm just happy to leave because that was just poorly done. But I really liked that they just were like, and these gimmicks here, like gimmicks. I'm calling them gimmicks like they're cheap. Like the car was cool as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, so were the Spawn were really neat. Those they gave us some really great scenes. I feel like, to me, I can't get it out of my head that maybe Ivan was just like doing the best he could with where he was in the story.
He did a pretty good job.
So I feel like I want to give him some kudos there as a writer. Like, the writing was finally good.
Yeah, and he didn't linger on. You could tell he just had to get that shit there at the beginning.
Yeah, right.
To make sense, and he moved past it very efficiently. So I'm glad of that. But yeah, that's our rating. So Eric gave it a 4.5. I gave it a 4.
Yeah,
vast improvement on the last call.
Yeah, vast improvement from us.
I'm glad the Delta's back in. I'm glad the Delta's back in Ash's hands. And, we seem to have banished the Necronomicon, and we're going to see some more Chet and Bruce or Chet and Ash for a little while. So
looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
I'm curious about Ball. So
Ball is coming. I'm pretty sure he's I think next episode. I think.
Okay, he might sneak around a little bit. I can allow for that, but yeah, kind of lurk.
I think they're finally going to go ahead and expose him. So that was it for Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 2, Episode 4, DUI. This right here comes out the week before Christmas.
Yes.
So next week we will have our Cult of Campbell Christmas special.
Yes.
Which is the Librarians and Santa's Midnight Run. We get to see Bruce portray old Saint Nick.
Ooh.
Kris Kringle himself, Santa Claus, which I'm very excited to see because I've never seen this series. I know nothing of the Librarians.
No, me neither. Yeah.
I'm very excited to see. I'm excited to see Bruce's take on Santa. Because I've seen screenshots while I was making like the graphics and getting stuff ready for the episode. So it looks very different than the Santa I've ever seen. So
really?
I'm excited. Yeah, it looks like it's a very Bruce take on Santa. That's all I'll say.
There we go. Okay. Well, I'm excited to see what the hell that means.
I'm excited to see if it how well
if it holds up to what you're.
So,
yeah. All right.
Of course, that week as well, we're going to have a lot of Christmas content for you guys here next week.
That's right.
Along with the Cult of Campbell Christmas special, we have a Christmas movie special where we're going to be talking about our favorite Christmas movies. That's going to be YouTube exclusive. You will have the debut of our new show, Cult of Lore, which Eric is putting on. Eric, you want to tell us a little about Cult of Lore? Let the audience in on what to expect from this new show from Cult Talk Net.
So it's a very deep dive, just kind of exploring the different lores and different fictions. Where me and Ben are both very passionate about like several. Just fiction. If you can't tell, we just absolutely love digging into this sort of stuff. There's a lot of information out there. There's just a lot. It's going to be a lot. So buckle up. It's a deep dive, starting out with Warhammer, and it's very long form. So be ready to put us on, tune in, and perhaps fall asleep to us and wake up with all of the knowledge.
Excellent.
All right.
So that's new. Then, of course, Christmas week, we've got, like I said, the Cult of Campbell Christmas special, Cult Movie Christmas special. We have a very special episode of Cult Talk Weird Shit, which talks about some weird Christmas stuff.
Yes.
Christmas Eve, we have Santa's Sleigh, which is a personal favorite of mine.
Oh.
And then on Christmas Day, we will have a special Christmas Day edition on both the podcast feeds and YouTube, where we will be looking at Krampus.
Lots of presents coming up. Oh my goodness.
Christmas week is a big week for us. A very Cult Talk Net Christmas is what we called it. So, but thank you guys for listening to this episode. Can't wait for Christmas to be in full swing here next week. And we hope everyone has a very groovy holiday. And until next time, make sure you follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter and Facebook at Cult Talk Net. And apparently the Reddit, where Ian is over on Reddit by himself.
Right.
So
maybe talk to him sometimes.
Yeah, give him someone to talk to. But all right, now we can go and sign off. We covered all our bases. We took care of everything.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Until next time, stay groovy.
Never fuck with the king. That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.